Professor at Montclair State University, Dan Geltrude. Dan, good morning. So are we seeing a trend towards permanent shifts in how people really approach this holiday shopping? Is really shopping online kind of the way to go at this point?
I think so. At least it is for me. I mean, why anybody would want to have to fight the traffic and parking and crowds and all the other issues, I don't know. I mean, to me, Jeff Bezos being one of the richest people in the world is well deserved. Now, there are people who like shopping or love shopping because it's a sport. For me, it's not. So the absolute convenience of a click and a delivery can't be beat. So I think this is a permanent trend that we're going to continue to see on into the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the sales online, especially like you said on Amazon, they're just too good to pass up. I used to like going in store, but like you said, the hassle, the amount of people, it's just a little too much, way too convenient to shop online. So the big box office just had its biggest Thanksgiving weekend ever, with record-breaking numbers, Moana 2, and then, of course, Wicked leading the charge, pulling in massive audiences and proving that the holiday season is more lucrative than ever for Hollywood. AMC Theater CEO calling this weekend, quote, a national phenomenon for moviegoing, and it's pretty easy to see why. I mean, Dan, streaming is so popular. What do you think is drawing people back to the theaters? I mean, I think movies like Moana 2, with all the kids, they're off school right now. I think that was a pretty easy movie to see over the weekend that made a lot of money. What's really drawing in the crowds?
Well, keep in mind that the box office, national box office, did $420 million over the extended weekend. That's a phenomenal number. Now, why is it happening? I think it's, one, about the experience, but two, I think there's an attitude change related to the economy. I think people are feeling much more positive as a result of the election. Change is coming. So people are feeling good and they want to get out. And what's great for retailers and business owners is they want to spend money. So this doesn't surprise me. And I think it's really a great thing, Alex.
I do. I completely agree with you, Dan. I really think that people are just feeling way more positive right now with that coming change in January. So Southwest Airlines is making some even more changes to its cabin service. Airline announcing they'll now require passengers to buckle up and put their seats upright earlier than they used to. Now, Southwest says the change is meant to, quote, reduce the risk of injuries from turbulence for both passengers and the crew members. Now, of course, this follows Southwest saying goodbye to its 50-year tradition of their open seating, where passengers, they ran on to pick their own seats after boarding. Dan, what do you think is behind Southwest's decisions to begin cabin preparations earlier and just to completely phase out that open seating that they had?
Well, two things here. First, I think that they're trying to ensure safety by making sure all the passengers are ready for the flight. So buckle up early. That's a good thing. As far as this open seating concept, I never understood that, Alex. I actually referred to that as cattle seating, right? It's just a stampede onto the plane. Try to get your seat. It doesn't make sense. I think there's probably some safety issues there, too. So I'm glad they're getting rid of that as well.
Yeah, I never... I hated, I also called it the cattle call as well. I hated that. Okay, so lastly, Kraft Mac and Cheese is making some big moves to stay relevant. Kraft is dropping a very limited number of its everything bagel flavored mac and cheese, hoping to generate some buzz, maybe go viral like on places like TikTok. Only 15,000 boxes will be made available exclusively on Walmart's website. Dan, is this clever marketing? Is this a smart way to attract younger consumers? We know how these kind of limited editions things go. People on TikTok, of course, are going to try it, make videos about it. What do you think of this plan?
Yeah, I think it's a great thing. Look, I love the everything flavor bagel. I've had it with sushi. So to drop it in with mac and cheese, hey, why not? I think it'll actually be a big hit.
Let's do it. Hey, I grew up on Kraft Mac and Cheese. It's very easy to do. It's cheap. I love it. I'll probably try this. Dan Geltrude, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Such a pleasure having you.
Thanks, Alex.
All right.